Hello everyone, just a quick announcement before I start the video. I am officially changing my name from Spoon24 to Fab10. Enjoy my new intro. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Andrew Tate. I've been gone for a while and I think it's about time that I upload something. And I have chosen Andrew Tate as a good topic to talk about. Now, for those of you who don't know who Andrew Tate is, I don't know either, or at least not very well, because he did become famous quite recently by saying a bunch of GigaChad based shit on podcasts and uploading it to TikTok, which I fully support, by the way. It's his right to go and say stuff like that as long as he's not hurting anyone, and if you want to get triggered by it, it's your right as well. Now, the reason why I want to talk about him today is because he got banned recently from 2 social media platforms. And that might not even be the end of him being banned. Normally when someone is banned from 2 social media platforms, they're usually banned from everything else, shutting them off from society entirely. Now, on to the topic of who this guy is. He's sort of like a rags to riches guy. I never even knew who he was like a few weeks ago until he started springing up on TikTok and YouTube Shorts everywhere. And I believe the YouTube algorithm has been pushing this kind of stuff onto me. As I am a young male, obviously I'd be sort of into this hustler lifestyle and being rich and making tons of money all the time, obviously. Who doesn't want to drive their dream car and live in a mansion, you know? However, personally, I do not see the appeal in Andrew Tate as a person. I think he's rather, like, vain and stuff like that, not very my type. I also rightfully believe that his fans are just a bunch of fat loser incels who have nothing better to do than sit around all day, masturbate, and watch videos by Andrew Tate on how to get rich. And by the way, watching videos on how to get rich is not how you get rich. Making videos on how to get rich is how you get rich. And that's why I do not see the appeal. I think it's just a scam to fool stupid people. Now, Andrew Tate has been exploding over the last few months because of the content he creates and because he's pretty much very controversial in the stuff that he creates. You either have like this huge, like you have a huge audience of people, right? And half of them really hate him and the other half just completely love him. He is a pretty divisive figure right now. He does say a lot of things that most people just generally wouldn't say. And due to the based things he says, he has been banned from Facebook and Instagram. Both are, but they're both Meta, aren't they? And if you're like me and you have experience in being banned off of Reddit and other websites like that, then you're probably wondering if the decisions of Meta will influence other social media platforms to ban him as well. A lot of the time when you see a platform take down someone for any reason, it sort of gives an excuse for all the other platforms to do the same. Meta has banned influencer Andrew Tate from Facebook and Instagram for violating its policies. The former kickboxer rose to fame in 2016 when he was removed from TV show Big Brother over a video which he appeared to depict him attacking a woman. Sorry, I can't read, folks. He went on to gain notoriety online, with Twitter banning him for saying women should bear responsibility for being sexually assaulted. He had 4.7 million followers on Instagram at the time his account was removed. That number had grown rapidly from around 1 million followers in June. Meta said it had removed the kickboxing style from its platforms for violating its policies on dangerous organizations and individuals, but did not provide any further details. So, according to Meta, which is the company that oversees both Facebook and Instagram, Andrew Tate was banned for violating the policy on dangerous groups and individuals. Now, the decision Meta made was very controversial in the first place because there's two hands, and on one hand there's this group of people who hate Andrew Tate and are very glad about him being deplatformed. They want him gone completely. They think he's dangerous. And then on the other hand, there's this hardcore fan base who are very sad about him being deplatformed. They see it as a suppression of freedom of speech, as do I as well. I do not approve of that kind of censorship at all. Now, I don't really want to come across as some kind of Andrew Tate fanboy, but I will defend his right as a man to say, what he thinks, just so long as he's not hurting anyone. I have found myself agreeing with some of the stuff that he says, maybe most of it, and also disagreeing with some of the stuff that he says, maybe most of it. Who knows? I haven't seen all of it, so I don't really know. Usually the things I agree with are the less controversial things, the things that are less likely to get you banned for just having those opinions, really. But he does, however, say some pretty out there stuff that I listen to them and I'm just like, oh, I don't think I agree with that. Although, as much as I may respect him as a person, I just don't agree with that, right? But I don't think that the things he says are so bad that it warrants him being banned from Meta. I mean, saying opinions really kind of goes with everybody on the internet, because not everything you say is going to be true, not everything I say is going to be true, although as much as I think it may be true, not everything I say everyone would agree on. I mean, I'm guilty of thinking that, but you gotta just understand everyone is listening and there's always going to be a mixed response. So back to why he was banned in the first place, asking a question like that, like, what in specific did he get banned for, is my question. Now, I know he does say some controversial things, like I've already gone over a couple times, but I don't think they're as controversial as other things that people say. Now, what I just said may cause people to jump to the conclusion and trigger them into believing that I'm an actual Andrew Tate defender and supporter. Now, I've already gone over this. I'm not a fat loser incel, so no, I am not a big Andrew Tate fan, nor am I not, like, a hater at all. I am just neutral on this guy. I think some of the things he says is okay and some of the things isn't. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way I think. Now, what I am intrigued by is the reason why he was banned, like what in specific he said. There's no specific details on why he was banned. They never really give any specific details. They just say you're banned for being hateful and give no example, no evidence, none of that kind of stuff. Or they take something you say out of context and make it look really bad. Now, some people would speculate, it's really obvious, really, what I think is probably the stuff that he said about women. Like he said, women should be responsible for sexual assault, but I think that may have been taken out of context because I have heard other people say that before, but that's not usually the only thing they say. They add on to it as like a justification, and they also never justify the man's actions either. For example, it's like you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. They usually provide an analogy where you wouldn't walk around Queens, New York while waving your wallet above your head during the middle of the night, because that's how you get yourself mugged. But that never means they justify the mugger. The mugger is still bad. It's just that if you put yourself out there to become a victim of a crime, technically you shouldn't do that. And that goes back to the sexual harassment thing, because if somebody is more promiscuous, they generally are more likely to be harassed by it. That doesn't mean that it should be illegal for them to be promiscuous, nor is it a justification for anyone to sexually harass them. It's just that it's easier to prevent a crime by knowing how people become victims of them. Knowledge is half the battle. Now, other speculations that are probably a bit more extreme and are unlikely to be true is that he's been accused of pimping women out online and sex trafficking in Romania. No, I don't know if it's true or not. It's probably not likely to be true. I don't think he would do something like that. Like I said, I'm not reporting on the sex trafficking thing, as I don't necessarily believe it's true. I'm really more reporting on the fact that he was banned from 2 social media websites, really. So I'll just ignore them until they come up again, until they're relevant again. I just really want to know what he said in specific that got him banned, or that made him seem like sort of a threat, because he was attracting kind of an incel audience, and incels do have a tendency to commit mass murder. Another reason that I personally speculate, is that he was running the Hustlers University thing, which is basically just a course. Anything that you can is something you can do on YouTube for free. It's a scam. What I think is what it is. But the report from Meta didn't state that the reason that he was banned was for running a scam business. It was for It was for hateful content and dangerous groups. Now I understand the dangerous groups part, but the danger is so little. I don't think it's worthy of him being banned. Obviously, a majority of incels, let's say, 999 out of 1,000, are completely safe, and they're also in such small numbers that they're pretty much safe, really. I'm not really threatened by them, really. I think a majority of them will meet their demise on How to Catch a Predator by Chris Hansen, therefore completely alleviating the threat. I do feel like that if a corporation as large as Meta were to ban someone from using their platform, especially someone like Andrew Tate, someone incredibly famous, they should provide a very good reason to do so, especially if the reason is a accusation like running a hate group or being a hateful person. Or at least they should provide examples of when they did that and provide actual evidence to prove their point and justify their actions. Especially if they are accusing somebody of such extreme things like running a hate group and being a hateful individual. Now, I think it should be common practice when organizations take actions like that to explain to its users why they did it. I think it's important to us, as we are the ones who, like, us using it pays the bills. Like, we have a right to know. I feel like that this is a stance that I hold very dearly to me, as I am very pro freedom of speech, and I believe that there should only be very few broad circumstances as to why you should be banned or censored in any way. I think that if corporations believe that if any content is being uploaded that they believe is bad enough that it shouldn't be on their platform, they should explain to me as to why, what danger it poses to me and what danger it could pose to other people. I know they're probably going to come up with some kind of excuse like online extremism and that it could turn other people into extremists, but I am not stupid. I know that every extremist, and I'm not leaving any exceptions, a large majority of extremists are inbred mouth-breathing retards. Their parents are related to each other, maybe brother and sister, and they have and their kid is fucked up in the head, and they believe political extremism. That is what an extremist is, and I think that I am an adult, a grown-up adult, and that I'm immune to that kind of stuff. I cannot be radicalized. Only inbred retards can be. I don't hear of someone being banned for the reason of extremism and then say, oh, thank God, I'm not going to become an extremist because they're not on the platform anymore, don't I? Nobody does that. Now, there is this possibility that other social media platforms may start following. According to the article, he was already banned from Twitter, which totals the amount of platforms that banned him to 3. But I am now concerned that within the next few months or weeks that other platforms such as YouTube, Snapchat and TikTok might ban him as well. Now, let's be honest, it does not matter how many platforms try and ban you completely. If you are popular enough, you will always have a hardcore fan base who will defend you to the death, and you will become a martyr if you've been completely banned. That you will be martyrized, and you'll probably use a alternative social media platform like BitChute to upload your content. You might create your own. I mean, it's already happened to several people because they were deemed too extreme by social media. Now, I don't think Andrew Tate will go down as easily because he has such a hardcore fan base who are so dedicated to him, and also he has a marketing strategy where people pay him $50 a month so that they can spread his message around the internet, like his Hustlers University thing, which I mentioned earlier. Whereas this does mean that social media platforms may be able to completely outright ban Andrew Tate, I do not think that due to his dedicated fan base, which will keep reposting clips of him around the internet, will ever stop. I don't think you can ban all of them. And this is not just the case with people like Andrew Tate, it's also Donald Trump is probably the most recent example that I can think of. He's been completely banned, but people still support him. He still has such a massive following. So yeah, you may be able to ban the man himself, but you will not be able to get rid of his fan base, and he will always be on the platform in one way or another. Now, I don't believe that social media websites would be that dedicated to getting rid of him entirely, mainly because of the amount of resources it would take. It would probably take a quarter of the world's resources just to get rid of everyone who supports him off the internet, not physically. And they probably just think it's better that he stays on websites like 4chan and 9gag Parler, I think that's what it's called, that Donald Trump social media. And this is not the first time it happened. Like I've just mentioned, Donald Trump created his own social media website, and I don't think it's out of the question that somebody like Andrew Tate would do the same, as he is an incredibly famous person with a lot of money. So does this mean this is the end of Andrew Tate? Is it game end for him? I don't necessarily think so. Like I said, due to his incredibly dedicated fan base, he will always live on in one way or another. And his fans will just keep posting clips of him talking, or any of his clips, until he just goes out of fashion, which will take quite a while, I think. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you managed to make it to the end of the video, do not hesitate to press the like button and the subscribe button. Have a good day.